Microsoft, we need to have a serious come to Jesus meeting. All right, so I want you to come over here, take a seat. We got some shit to discuss, okay? We're gonna discuss it while we play PowerWash Simulator 2 demo, because that just dropped 2 days ago. Okay, so as some of you know, the foolish decision, in my personal opinion, to raise the price of Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, was made yesterday to $30 a month. And I'm gonna be so for real. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Now, some of you, I see some of the arguments online, and some of the arguments are like, oh, if you guys don't like it, just downgrade. And we'll get to that in a second. Oh, look at that fancy shit. Okay, I didn't even know we were gonna do all that. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second, but it needs to be, it cannot be overstated enough how it's not a great decision for a large portion of the gamer base. As I've seen on Twitter, I still call it Twitter because I'm not fucking calling it X. Over the last 24 hours since this was announced, there's been a lot of discourse and a lot of tweets of people talking about how they have, they've canceled their Xbox Game Pass, their Xbox Live and shit like that. And honestly, even though I'll only be downgrading to premium because I'm gonna be so for real, I don't need access to day one games. I don't have enough free time or free hard drive space in the world to justify $30 a month for the only bonus perk that really applies to me to be playing games day one when they come out. I don't really care about that. I can easily, if I really want to play a game bad enough, I'm just gonna buy it. I would rather buy it and support the dev at that point. And then if I'm not able to buy it right away and then it comes out on Game Pass later, when we have that later release option where we'll eventually get to play it, fine. That's cool. I don't need all that. But the thing that really fucking sucks about this decision is that when you do the math, the current price of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, as far as I'm aware, is still $19.99 a month. Okay? So when you do yes. No. Yes. Yeah, I think when I checked it's still $19.99 a month, okay? So, when you do the math, we're gonna do the math, because I did the math incorrectly yesterday, because I thought I was at the wrong price point, so that's on me. So, $19.99 times 12, that's $239.88 a month. You round that up, that's $240. No, so I was correct. It was $240 a month, or $240 for a whole year of Xbox Live, games, day one, all that shit. It's not great, but it's not terrible, like there's some streaming services that are way more expensive a month than Xbox Game Pass and shit like that. So like, to some degree, as somebody who gets a lot out of Xbox Game Pass, I can justify that. You know what I mean? What I can't justify is $30 a month, because then the price of that goes up to $360 a year. And as we all know, times are really fucking hard right now. Financially, economically, some would say politically. And it's a harsh world out there. And by the way, there's a good chance that my rant while we're power washing and shit may very well turn slightly political. So if that's not something that you're comfortable listening to, or you don't really want to listen to it, you have two options. You either need to get comfortable and understand that things like this have to be talked about in order for actual progress to be made in society, or you can just walk away and get off the channel for this video and go watch something else. That's fine too. Either way, there is a chance, I'm not sure yet where my rant's gonna go, but there is a chance that this will have to get political to some degree. So just be aware that, like, I know some of you may not like it, but that's how it's gonna be. Anyways, so $360 a year, that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. Not all of us can afford that extra $120 a year, because a lot of us are already living paycheck to paycheck. There are some people out there who that extra $120 a year, that may be the difference between them not being able to make rent on time or whatever. And I also understand, again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you could just downgrade. to premium, which is fine. Because that's, like I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to downgrade to premium. But even still, it's more of the principle of the thing that pisses me off. Because Microsoft Corporation, I guarantee you they already make enough money. I guarantee you they make a lot of fucking money. They don't really need to be raising the price the way that they are. It's just, it's not necessary. And yet we have all of these companies out here with so much greed. You know, I miss the days when I could buy a full year of Xbox Live for $60 a year. And there are some of us who are old enough to remember that. And there are some of us who are old enough to remember the days of the Xbox 360 social experience, you know? Back in the day on the Xbox 360, some of y'all may be too young to know about this. Let me sip my whiskey while it helps me focus on my thoughts. Some of y'all might be too young to remember this, but there was a point in time on the Xbox 360, what I call the Xbox 360 social experience, where you had a couple things that you could actually do with the entire community. There was a game show, and I don't remember what that game show was called on the Xbox 360, but your avatar would go into this little like games show looking type thing, and you would be playing against players from all around the world. I want to say it was probably like a trivia type thing, and you could win like actual prizes. Like I'm pretty sure you could win like Xbox points, because it used to be Xbox points. They didn't used to use like currency as an actual currency. Like you would spend money for Xbox points, and you could use those Xbox points to buy things. Like games were like 6,000, like a brand new release game was 6,000 Xbox points. And so I think, if I remember correctly, you could win Xbox points and shit like that. Nowadays, that experience is completely gone, which is such a shame, because that was such a unique selling point of being on the Xbox as well. I can't say that PlayStation had something like that. Granted, I've had Xbox for most of my gaming career. I haven't had a PlayStation since the PlayStation 2, which was a great console. I love my PlayStation 2. But, you know, I've been an Xbox guy for a very long time. I have seen some really good and some really not so good times in Xbox. I don't know if some of you guys remember this, but there was another game that's called Doritos Crash Course. And like you would take your Xbox avatar and you would go through like these obstacle courses. Like there's a whole ass TV show that like it kind of reminds me of. I don't remember. I think it's Wipeout. It was kind of like Wipeout, but you could use your Xbox avatar to like compete in it, and it wasn't like the Xbox game show thing where you could actually win things. Like this was just a like, oh, this is a fun co-op game for friends that you can play. You did have to pay for it. I don't think it was free, but it was a lot of fun, you know. And so a lot of Xbox's really great features back in the day were like, you know, they had avatar customization, which they've recently discontinued, if I'm not mistaken, like within the last couple of years, which I think is also fucking dumb. But there was just a lot of really cool things. There was a reason to have an avatar, you know, there was shit to do with your friends. I think another great selling point, personally, for like the later gen Xboxes was when they released the Xbox One, right? Because I bought the Xbox One day one. I had a day one Xbox One, and it came with the Kinect, and they used the Kinect where you could use like voice commands and shit. So like you could turn the Xbox on by just saying Xbox on. You could switch to TV by being like Xbox Watch TV. It would switch to your cable. You would just like, I think you hooked the cable either to the Xbox or to the Kinect, and you could switch back and forth. You could multitask. Like you could have, if I remember correctly, you could have a game window on one half of your TV, and you could watch TV at the same time. And you could also use voice commands like Xbox play, let's say right now, if I was playing Monster Hunter, I'd be like, Xbox play Monster Hunter World, right? And it'd be like, okay, cool. And then you could fucking switch. You could be like, all right, Xbox play Forza Motorsport, and it would fucking just switch. It would fucking switch. And then you could come right back to Monster Hunter if you wanted, which was great. They had so many great innovations with Xbox back in the day, and they've done away with so much of that creativity and those attempts to be innovative with their consoles, with whatever the fuck they're doing, and it is so sad and so disappointing. And so when Xbox Game Pass came out, you know, I thought that was a decently great incentive. It was like, because they weren't giving us games with gold anymore, because you guys remember we got games with gold. If you had Xbox Gold, which was your Xbox live service, you get games with gold, you get 2 free games every month, 2 to 3, I think it was. I think one of them was like a newish game, and then 2 of them were like older games. And it was a decent selection. It wasn't the best. Like occasionally you'd get a good gem of like a free game as an option, but you know they had some winners and they had some losers. So when they came out with Xbox Game Pass, it was like you pay at the time I think $14.99 was the first price. It was either $14.99 or $17.99. I've seen 2 different prices. I'm gonna start with $14.99 because I'm 99% sure that was the original price. And you would get, you know, you'd get your Xbox Live, you would get points perks, you would get the giant catalog of games that they would constantly add to play, and then you would get access to day one games. And they continued to expand on that. And like that was a pretty good selling point for me to be like, okay, you know what, I can do a monthly subscription program for Xbox Live and Xbox Gold and all that shit. I can justify it because now I'm getting to play games that I may not even have to pay for. Like Forza Motorsport. You guys have seen me make content on Forza Motorsport. That came out in 2023. I have not paid for that game. And I have had hundreds of hours of fun on Forza Motorsport. I paid for the car pass so I could actually get access to the cars because that was enough for me to be like, you know what, I'll pay for this because I know I'll fucking play it. Now, you know, thankfully that game's probably not going to leave Game Pass. But you know, if I were to cancel my Game Pass Ultimate, because of the price thing, I would lose access to Forza Motorsport. Although truthfully, and actually no, I can't even say that I would buy it because they're not doing anything for it anymore. It's all recycled content at this point. They're not updating it anymore. They're just adding old shit back. Like, sure, they'll cycle through playlists on multiplayer for a while to give people shit to do, but I guarantee you within the next year or two, they'll probably cancel support for it online. They'll probably shut the servers off, which is bullshit, but that is what it is. So, all of that to say, like, I don't understand necessarily the thought process and thinking, yeah, this is something our players want, especially because I've seen the clips. They open their fucking video where they're explaining all the new Game Pass stuff with, we listen to your feedback. There's not a single Xbox player or PC player who asked for you to raise the price an additional $10 and give us a bunch of shit we don't want. I don't care about Fortnite crew shit. Why is that coming to the Xbox Game Pass? Why? Nobody gives a shit about that. And if you do, I don't want to yuck your yum, but that's fucking weird. Like, and the Ubisoft shit, Ubisoft needs to get its shit together. Like, right now, I'll talk real good about the Crew Motorfest. I think to date, the Crew Motorfest is currently Ubisoft's best success in the last couple years. Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't terrible, you know. They're apparently going to be releasing a Black Flag remake sometime soon, within the next 6 to 8 months possibly. So I am excited for that. But, you know, this price hike is not the move. And it's why I'm not going to shit anybody who feels the need to just cancel it altogether. Because at the end of the day, that price hike is a slap in the face to your player base. It's a slap in the face to the people who have been loyal to you since day one. You know? Forcing us into certain services and shit that we don't want. You know, I think it would be more beneficial if we could do a build your own Game Pass, you know, where, for me personally, I'm so sorry. I'm getting over a cold, so I have this fucking tickle in the back of my throat as I'm talking. Like, it feels like a dry throat. So that's what it is. That's what's causing me to cough. But like, I would do a build your own Game Pass. All I would want personally to pay for is online access. I would pay for access to games day one. I would pay for access to the library of games that they expand on, and I would pay for like the 4 times point multiplier that they're offering with the $30 Game Pass. I'd pay for that. And if that ended up costing me like 15 to 20 bucks, fine. I'd pay for it. That's fine, because that's shit I'm going to use. But I'm not going to pay $30 a month to get access to day one games. Because like, I don't have that much free time where I can justify paying $30. I can justify 20 because it's what I'm already paying. I can't justify 30. I don't know. It's wrong, and I don't like it, because I've also been somebody for so long who has advocated for, like, we need to stop console exclusivity. I think that's also fucking dumb, and I will die on that soapbox for the rest of my life. I think it's fucking dumb to have console exclusivity for games when all consoles can basically do the same goddamn thing and have the same goddamn computing power and graphical power and all this other shit, you know? So why are we still having exclusive titles for certain consoles only in this day and age? And like, watching Helldivers 2 come to Xbox was such a breath of fresh air, because it was like, finally, you know, this is something I've wanted since the game came out, because originally my PC couldn't handle streaming it and playing it. I could play it, but I couldn't stream it, and that killed me, because I was like, I want to make content on this, but I can't. Now I could, but also my computer's really good, so I'm not worried about it. And if I'm rambling a lot, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do really good at like having a point, and I like to think, like, to a degree I do have a point and that I'm making a point, but I could also just be rambling and sounding fucking stupid. And I want to know you guys' thoughts too down below in the comments. Like, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? I can bet that a large majority of you, like me, are also very disgruntled about this and very unhappy about it. I still stand by the fact that I think it's a giant slap in the face. But also, let's talk about the fact how, like, because of this move now, like, you do see, like I saw yesterday, there were a lot of people who are like, well, I'm canceling my pass, right? And then you have to think about the fact that if they're canceling their passes, that's gonna affect the bottom line of all of these gaming companies that have invested in making games for Xbox and partnering with Xbox to release games on their platform, and took the risk, because that's the other thing too, they took the risk of wanting their games to be available on Game Pass for free day one. Okay? So they're missing out on a giant margin of pre-order revenue for standard, deluxe, and ultimate editions if they have those. So now Xbox has shot these game companies in the foot as well by assuming that their fan base is going to want to pay these prices for this service. And that's going to hurt the bottom line for Microsoft. It's going to kill their chances of getting deals with companies in the futures. In the future, not in the futures. And it's going to, at this current moment, fuck over a lot of companies with their games. Because I saw that High on Life posted a tweet yesterday on Twitter talking about how, High on Life 2, day one access on Game Pass, and there were hundreds of comments underneath with people posting photos of them having canceled their Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Hundreds of photos of it. So it pisses me off. It just pisses me off. But I think a build your own Game Pass option would have been the better alternative to at least allow players to choose what they want, what services they want, what bonuses they want, at a decently reasonable price. And I really just, it kills me. It fucking kills me, man. It makes me glad that I do have a PC, that can run things very well. I'm very fortunate for that. But if I didn't have the means to have a PC, I'd be fucked, dude. Like, at the end of the day, I'm still very fortunate to make the money that I make and to be able to pay for the things that I can pay for monthly, you know? There are a lot of people out there who don't have the means. Like, there's a lot of gamers out there who are parents who have to, like, you know, focus on making sure that they can feed their family every month and keep a roof over their head and all these things. And so maybe their only way to really afford reasonably playing video games is to pay for Game Pass, you know? And maybe the price point for it was enough to justify them being able to keep it. But now, if that price point is going up, you know, childcare is not cheap. I believe I remember seeing the average cost of childcare here in the US right now is roughly, I feel like it was over exaggerated, but it's like 40,000. It was either 40,000 or 400,000, and 40,000 a year seems more realistic than 400,000, because who the fuck is making $400,000 a year in this day and age if you're not a fucking billionaire? But, you know, 40,000 a year to raise a child is expensive. We're talking like medical bills, if it's a newborn, diapers, clothes, food, constantly upgrading clothes, because, you know, your newborn's not going to fucking fit in those same clothes for a year. It's fucking crazy. Daycare, oh my god. And then the fucking rising costs of healthcare and the limited options that we have in this country without a job or even just fucking being reasonable. So I'm disappointed, and I stand by any gamer who chooses to cancel their subscription, because we also have to remember at the same time, a lot of our power right now in this country, in this world even, because this doesn't just affect people in the United States, it affects people globally. This is a global increase. A lot of our power as consumers comes from our ability to purchase things. Our money speaks a lot louder than our words do. So we can sit and bitch online all we want, but if we still give in and we still buy shit, because that's what they're assuming. They're like, oh, they're gonna bitch about it, they'll still fucking pay for it. No. I highly encourage you to speak with your wallet in today's global climate. No matter where you are, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Europe or Asia, you know, speak with your wallet. Because the only thing that will actually get a lot of these companies to take us seriously is to hurt the bottom line. You know, you don't have to be violent in situations like this, but if you hurt the bottom line and you cause hell for the investors, for the companies they work with, and for the company themselves, they're going to take notice, and it's going to make an impact. Look at what happened with the whole Disney and Jimmy Kimmel shit. You know, like, this is where we're going to get a little political. There was the dumbest fucking reason, in my personal opinion, to take him off the air, because they wanted to politicize a situation and make it out to be a lot bigger than it was. And so the person decided to be like, oh, I don't like him, take him off the air, and then Disney capitulated. And then what happened? Hulu, Disney Plus, canceled. People were dropping it like it was nothing. People were canceling vacations. They were canceling cruises. They were canceling hotel stays, you know? And that spoke. Now, granted, the other companies, for, I think it was Hulu and something else, they still chose to not put Jimmy Kimmel back on air. But Disney gave him his show back, and they aired his show on Disney Plus. And it took less than a week to get it done. And why? Because people spoke with their wallets. So I highly encourage you guys to speak with your wallets in this situation. I'm just making the logical financial decision for myself. I'm not going to pay the $30 a month. I'm going to make the decision financially to drop down what I'm paying for every month instead, to fit my lifestyle logically. But I do stand by and encourage others to You know, if you choose not to downgrade and cancel, go for it. That is 100% a valid and smart thing to do, because we shouldn't have to take this much abuse financially. Shit's hard. It's fucking hard out here to live and to exist, and it shouldn't be, period. But it is. So, thank you guys for sitting and listening to my fucking bullshit. Like I said, I want to know your thoughts and comments down below. Please, if you do decide to debate, keep it peaceful. Remember, there are just some people who may not be in great financial situations compared to yourself or others. And be kind, because at the end of the day, this is a situation that affects us all as gamers. You know, it may not stop with Microsoft. It might happen to PlayStation and Sony next. God forbid it happens to Valve and Steam. All of this started when Nintendo was like, we're gonna charge fucking $90 for our games and alienate the player bases and shit like that for not great games. Because let's be real, Nintendo doesn't put out great games. They have some good ones, but a lot of their games are not that great. And you can crucify me for that take if you want, but you know, I don't disrespect the history and influence that Nintendo has in the gaming industry, but nowadays they are far behind the curve, and they're not doing great with a lot of their choices. And I personally have beef with Nintendo with how they treat the content creators that make content on their game. I think that's fucking bullshit too. So, yeah. But anyways, that's all I have to say on that. Anyways, if you guys want to see PowerWash 2 content, PowerWash Simulator 2 content, when it comes out, let me know. I will be buying this game. I need to power through, see what I did there? The first one. Because I haven't finished it yet. I've barely finished it. And I'll make content on that one too, if you guys want to see it, until PowerWash Simulator 2 comes out, because we have till... I think they gave this, what, no, I don't think they have an actual release date for this yet. But I will happily make content on the first game if you guys want to see it. So, I love you all. Give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed what you watched. Come hang out with me on Twitch, where I will also probably stream this game at some point too. Because sometimes, you know, your boy will just need a nice, relaxing, late night stream after a stressful day. That's very highly probable. And then, of course, I have 2 other channels as well. I have a horror channel and a racing channel. So just make sure that you guys check that out. It is New Horizon Racing for the racing channel and Nightmare Horizon for the horror channel. I will probably forget to put the links in the description, and that is why I am telling it to you verbally. So I love you all. Please be good to each other, and I will see you guys in the next video for whatever the fuck else that we decide to do. Oh, also, before I go, there's a fucking cat, and his name is Ulysses, and he's fucking adorable. Or she. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy cat, but there's also a kitten named Bubbles, and Bubbles is also adorable, and I will die for Bubbles, and I will die for Ulysses. Oh, no, look, over here. Here's Bubbles. Look at Bubbles! Oh, hello, Bubbles. Hey, yo, Bubbles, such a good kitty. Okay, anyways, that's enough of me being obnoxious. All right, bye!